First game reaction we're going to get to is a game that I was at. And when I tell you guys, this stadium was electric. The fans showed up. The fans show out. Maryland don't get a lot of sellouts. They're not like, that team in Lincoln that has had sellouts for like almost 60 years now. That's not Maryland. Maryland is a town, especially College Park specifically. It's a town you have a lot to compete with. Not too far from Washington, D.C., not too far from Baltimore. There's a lot of attractions, a lot of things to do. And if you aren't playing well, they're not going to reward you by showing up. They're not like other programs. But the fan base was out. They was out early. I had the ability to get to this game really early. Seen Jedd Fisch talking to Terry Bradway. Was able to get some pictures of Jedd Fisch. Was able to get some really nice pregame footage that I was able to get. And it was just an outstanding time being there. The atmosphere was crazy. It was hot. This is weird. Like an 80-degree day in the summer, you're like, wow, it's a nice day. An 80-degree day in the fall is sweltering, especially with this humidity, man. I'm telling you, it's so sweltering, man. But yeah, the crowd, 46,000 deep in College Park. Like I said, I'm at a lot of those games, and I've never seen the crowd this raucous. The one against Michigan State was pretty live last year, so was the USC, but it wasn't a sellout crowd. Neither one of those games were sellout. And Maryland came out in this game and they wanted to make a statement, right? Malik Washington, true freshman, he's played outstanding this year. There are some growing pains that he will learn in this game. There's absolutely some growing pains that when he looks back on this game, he will say, hey, I had opportunities. There was more meat on the bone, and we just didn't execute. And that's growth. That's what it's all about when you're a true freshman, right? But this game may come back to haunt Maryland, right? So they marched right down the field, hit the opening field goal. I was like, all right, it's electric. This is after forcing a turnover, like early in the game, right? Then they got the ball back, was able to score a touchdown. We see Malik Washington scored a touchdown, do the flip in the end zone. I was actually standing at the end zone, and if you look on my YouTube shorts right now, that's one of my shorts, and it actually did really well. You see him running in the end zone and do like the little layup as he scored. So it's like 10-0. Right before the first quarter even ended, it's 10-0. And I'm looking, I'm saying, is Washington not the team that I thought they were? Or is Maryland better than I thought they were? Because I knew like Maryland didn't really play grand competition. The toughest team that they played so far this season was Wisconsin, but they also played NIU. They also played Towson. They also played FAU. So my fear was that, hey, these guys haven't played enough top flight competition yet. So I knew that, that Washington was going to come in there and with a point to make, especially after losing to Ohio State a week ago. So it's 10-0. Add another field goal. By halftime, we're looking at a 13-0 score. And I'm saying, if Maryland can come out, drive the ball down the field right after halftime, 20-0, I don't see Washington coming back from that. I couldn't be even more wrong, right? That's the way it looked on the sideline, right? So, early third quarter, it is 20-0. And that's where everything changed. And you can sit in a building. You know how sometimes you're in a movie theater, right? And inside of the movie theater, like, you could tell there's a change in music, and they try and scare you, but you try and be thugged out, you try and be strong, but the anticipation is so crazy. So that moment when you think the ghost or whoever's about to jump out, they don't jump out, or whatever paranormal activity is about to happen. Any of those scary movies, it don't happen. But in the stadium, there was like this uneasiness, like, yeah, we up 20-0. Yeah, this environment is incredible, but just uneasy. Just 100% uneasy, right? And that's where everything just changed, man. Maryland didn't lose this game. They just stopped playing it. Really, that's all it was. Like, you had opportunities to win this game, and sometimes you got to have that killer instinct, whether that's as a head coach, whether that's a coordinator or a defensive coordinator, and you got to think that we got to score more points. That's not even enough. And once you have that mindset, you win games like this. But Washington offense just couldn't buy a rhythm the first two quarters. But Jedd Fisch, Demond Williams Jr., they kept believing. You can see it on their faces. It was no panic. Granted, I'm always on the visitor team sideline in most stadiums just because that's where less security officers are. And typically on the home side, believe it or not, on the home side, there's typically less room because they don't want a lot of media and stuff over there. The away side, there's a lot more room. So you can walk by, you can chill. Like, ain't nobody bothering you for real. And it's incredible what we've seen. Like, I look at this game and I look at the poise and the resilience of Damon Williams Jr. You have to say, like, this is an incredible performance. I look at a performance like this and say to myself that this is one of these game-changing performances, and if they're ever faced with this situation again, hopefully they aren't, because they're a really good football team. They could be like, hey, you remember that Maryland game? Kind of look at each other. You know, remember the famous Cam Newton speech at halftime? You know what I'm saying? It was like one of those moments. So watching Damon Williams Jr. operate. Also, he's listed as 5'11". He's not 5'11". Doesn't mean anything. He's incredible, man. And Washington's offense just slowly came alive. They just slowly came alive. And the Huskies' last 5 drives. Let me give you the numbers for their last 5 drives. 45 plays, 298 yards, 24 points. Terps' last 4 drives. 19 plays, 52 yards, 0 points. What's the biggest thing that stand out to you there? Right? Because easily we can equate the yardage and the 0 points, but to me it was the way that they were able to possess the ball. Typically when you have a lead, the ideology is, hey, we're going to possess this ball, especially in a nice league. We're going to possess this ball and start, running some time out, right? To me, that's coaching. No disrespect, Mike Locksley. That's lack of composure. That's also lack of belief. And on Washington's side, that's amazing coaching. That's outstanding composure. And that's outstanding belief, right? And while Maryland was stalling, right, they had 2 possessions. In between the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, 3 plays and out. Total time was 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Imagine having a lead. 2 back-to-back 3 and outs. And the total time you took from that time is 2 minutes and 52 seconds. What does that mean, Governor? That means your defense is on the field quite a lot. That's what that means. Your defense is on the field. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Your defense is on the field because you can't put drives together. That's nerves. That's not wanting to make a mistake. Like, somebody needed to go make a play. And that play was not made at all, right? Shout out to Denzel Boston. That kid is every bit of 6'4". That kid is legit. I'm interested to see what he runs in a 40, because I promise you, scouts are going to love him. Desmond Robach, both caught touchdowns in that fourth quarter avalanche. It was surgical. It was 100% surgical. And the poise and resilience of Damon Williams Jr., I continue to say it. He didn't have his best game by any stretch of the imagination. This was a team that was once, second in the nation in scoring, are looking at halftime being down 13-0 at halftime. Then I forgot what part of the third quarter Maryland scored, but then ended up being down 20-0. A team that could score the point at a high clip. So, talking about Washington a little bit, talking about both teams. Let's talk about Maryland. You had a 20-0 lead at home, bro. 20-0 lead at home. College Park, like I said, the energy was electric. College Park ain't one of those stadiums like you guys hear me talk about Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. That's one of those meccas. Clemson is the same way. There are some stadiums I haven't been in, but I'll tell you if I've been to a stadium if it's loud or not. Lane Stadium is crazy. You can't hear yourself think. You really can't. College Park ain't like that. If the team is playing good, they'll probably show up. They playing really good, they will show up. They playing decent, they may decently show up. They're playing bad, they won't show up. That's what you have in College Park. So you had the crowd, you had momentum, you had control, and you blew it. And not because Washington was lucky by any stretch of the imagination, but because you got lazy. This is a game of 4 quarters. 60 minutes, no matter how you slice it. If you play phenomenally for 40 minutes and horribly for 20, you may lose the game. That's the way it works, especially at the collegiate level where you get poison bunches. You do get a temporary time stoppage. When a team gets a first down, there are opportunities to come back and support. That's why I always feel like a game ain't over until it's over. Mike Locksley, I said you was on the hot seat heading into the season. You guys have done what you're supposed to do as far. Best win in Wisconsin, like I said a little bit earlier. Yes, it was an outstanding win. You beat Luke Fickell team on the road where I thought Billy Edwards Jr. and them will be motivated to play you. Yes, you won a game. Outstanding. But if you look at the sideline, you look in the stadium, right? You immediately start to see everybody frantic. Other than the Washington sideline, they jumping and around. You see the towels in the air and them jumping. Maryland side just look like they're at a funeral. The fan base looked the same way. Everybody could feel it was coming. It's one of those things like when you're in the stadium and you're just shaking your head the entire time. The run game. What was the run game at Mike Locksley? 57 rushing yards total. Malik Washington's solid stat line, but you guys needed to have a running game this game, especially when you had the lead. What you had? 6 plays, 252 minutes taken off the board. I'm sorry, 2 minutes and 52 seconds taken off the board. That's embarrassing. It is so embarrassing. And then we look at it when Washington finally took the lead with 3 minutes and 21 seconds left. When Jonah Coleman scored a touchdown, there was no life on the Maryland sidelines. It was just utter disbelief. We didn't have anybody on the sideline. Come on, let's get it together. We still got an opportunity. Yes, we played horrible the second half, but we got a drive right here. Let's go take care of business. That didn't happen at all. Just didn't happen. Jedd Fisch, great coaching job. Outstanding job. Your staff believed the entire time. Your players believed the entire time. I don't know what that halftime speech was like. I wish I could have been a bug on the wall to see it. I promise you I wish I could have been a bug on the wall to see what you all said that halftime that really changed things around. The final numbers tell the story. Washington outgained Maryland 393 yards to 274 in total yards. Picked up 28 first downs to Maryland 18. Dominated time of possession. Not really. They won by a minute, but it was a minute more than they needed, right? Because Maryland should have dominated time of possession after you have a 20-point lead. That's what you say. It's just laziness, man. Washington traveled 3,000 miles to College Park, down 20-0, and walked out 24-20 winners. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy to me. And like I said, the biggest thing that happened was that Maryland drive in the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, 6 plays. You know what I'm saying? 2 possessions, 6 plays, 3 and outs, 2 minutes and 52 seconds. That lost you the game.